All right, it's Wednesday, May 8th. This is an end of the day SPY recap. And today on the daily chart, we end up with a two down green day, or what looks like a two down failure day that took out the low of the previous day but didn't reach its target and closed, green, and that sets up an actionable signal to the upside tomorrow. It's kind of what we've been looking for in terms of the last few days. It's been gap up, gap up, gap up. Yesterday it paused a little bit, so you're at a little bit of exhaustion risk. The weekly chart is up with green bars to its next target. The monthly chart is still green and heading higher, so your continuity is to the upside, and you're kind of waiting for this kind of actionable signal to form on the daily chart, where you have kind of a move lower that fails and then starts higher. So if we go above today's high tomorrow, then that's a nice signal to again continue the weekly chart back to the upside. We have a target here of Tuesday's high, and then there are other targets above. So the gap down today, what happened was after yesterday's neutral bar, we did gap down. The pre-market range is between the blue lines, and I could show you here after yesterday's close, the market was definitely gapping down, but this set up kind of an interesting scenario. Was it going to be a big pullback lower, or as it turns out, price immediately was bought up? So on the first, even if you are going to consider this below the midpoint of the prior day, therefore I'm not going to buy anything, you would have done nothing today, and you would have just kind of watched how this bar closed. You see that it closes with a two down green bar, and now you're ready for actionable signals to the upside tomorrow. If you wanted to be real aggressive, in the sense that you knew the context was you have a nice uptrend in play with bigger targets above, and this down opening offered the Verisbar green and a push above on bar number 2, you could have definitely taken that trade, even though you're below the low of yesterday, and just see what happened. And as it turns out, it went right to where it should have gone. The target would be the pre-market highs. Anytime I'm seeing signals out of the gates here inside the pre-market range, I first target the pre-market highs and lows. If I open up above that, and then I look at other previous daily targets. So in this case, you're in between the pre-market range. It moved up right out of, on bar number 2, and it did immediately move to its target. So that could have been a morning trade. Obviously, this could have just failed in here and had some kind of a green to red move and maybe taken out the lows of the day, since you're below the midpoint of the prior day. So you would have had to been very nimble on this trade, in my opinion, just that the fact that you're below the, the low of yesterday, and it might have just, on bar number 2 or 3 could have rolled over big with a red bar. You would have expected these lows to be taken out, and maybe you would have expected this target to be hit, and maybe the weekly chart would have turned green. So again, either you took a buy here or you did nothing, but you certainly weren't selling based on opening price action. I then actually, once it kind of made its move up here and I saw it have a nice orderly pullback relative to that first move, and it had the green bar, I decided to buy some calls to see if it would take out the the high of the day. And I guess it technically got there. It looks like maybe it just hit it. I exited very close to the end of the day, very small gain. So again, it's not like today I was even expecting to do much. I had my continuity to the upside. The market was gapping down, and I could be patient to wait for better daily signals to unfold. I tried a couple of trades. I think Nvidia was one. I wrote where I bought the price here on this, bar number 2, and it kind of came up and had intraday structure to the upside. I scaled out and set up a nose trade. This one came all the way back down. I had to break even. I think I have that here. Yeah, Nvidia. I bought it at 906.11, and I scaled out at 910, about 4 points higher, and then my break-even stop at 902 was hit. So, a total break-even trade there. What else was I doing? Google, I decided to buy that on the breakout here. Again, I kind of saw that the continuity, where the intraday structure was to the upside, and this one was disappointing also. Bought it here. It was bouncing around. I discussed how I scaled out at this blue line, and then ultimately, once I saw the market really struggling in the midday, I just decided to take a very small gain. It was almost break even on this trade, but I didn't. It ended up obviously moving lower. It never followed through higher. I missed some stocks that would have followed through. CrowdStrike, I see, would have had at least nice gains if you pick that one. even Netflix offered some better gains to the upside. But overall, the market really didn't have a big directional move, and I didn't think it would. And, I had a little small winner here on the SPY on this secondary trade, bought it here, sold near the highs of the day up here, and that's it. So anyway, we end the day here with that 2 down kind of failure bar, which is a nice actionable signal to the upside tomorrow. As always, we'll see where opening price action starts out, the pre-market range, and kind of go from there. Today though, there's no doubt that there was no selling, at all in here, given the opening price action. And if you want to be very aggressive, just knowing your context was that we're in a big uptrend, and maybe this first move could, move to the, it's pre-market highs, it would have worked out nicely. So I didn't take that one. I took this one, and I'm always looking for just 2 moves each day, essentially, with these charts. The first move of the day, and then maybe a secondary move, and then sometimes there's failures in here that I know, my worked out. Like, let's say we came down here and moved up and had a big red bar. I could have maybe jumped in and expected maybe a failure move up on the day, given we're below the midpoint of the prior day, but that's a whole other type of trade. So anyway, we will go with that for today and just see if tomorrow, in fact, we do now have an actionable signal to the upside, and possibly, much more, more directional pushes than there was today. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.